My name is Alondra de la Parra, and I'm a conductor. I conduct orchestras, moving from one country to the other, doing that. But I also create artistic projects, especially around classical music and orchestra. I'm a mother of two beautiful children, and love putting artists and artistic ideas together. That's, I think, in a nutshell.
Yeah,
even though after working with you, there's a big sound. Even though after working with you, I would not define myself as that, which I think is a clear sign of the good work that we did together. I now would say I'm an artist who conducts, I'm an artist that who expresses herself in many ways, whether it's creating projects, developing or producing festivals, concepts, ideas, ballets, symphonic works, stage works, but an artist who mainly conducts. So my main tool is conducting orchestras.
Yeah, nice. That shift is a really nice shift as well. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so that's, I think that in a nutshell shows how much your work helped me redefine my how I see myself professionally, for sure.
Yeah, nice. So when you decided you wanted to work with me, you wanted coaching, what were the kind of challenges that you were facing back then, that you were experiencing back then?
The pandemic was an interesting moment because it gave us all a lot of challenges, but also space to think. And I thought, okay, this is really the time for me to understand where I'm going, who I am, who I want to be, what do I really want to do, what I don't want to do. And in this profession of conducting, there's, of course, the mainstream, the main path that everybody or most people have followed in the past. And somehow I couldn't fit in that, and I couldn't see that as the only way. So I was searching, and also afraid of that search, because it's also scary to get out of what's established. And also overwhelmed. I just was feeling completely overwhelmed with too many ideas, too many questions, too many things to do, balancing my life between being a single mother of two beautiful young babies, and also being a professional from whom so much is expected, and I expect so much from. So I was in this kind of, and I remember I met my very good friend, Christopher Wheeldon, years before. And suddenly I've seen him manage complexity incredibly with all his shows and his creativity and his life and his personal life. And I remember seeing him doing very well. And I asked, what are you taking? Like, what pill are you taking? And he said, oh, it's Anna Reynolds. You should talk to her, but it's not so easy to get to work with her because she's very particular about who she chooses to work with. And I thought, oh, that would be great. And that was how we were introduced. Thanks to Chris.
Yes, I remember that very well. Did you ever find yourself when we first spoke, did you ever find yourself after those first couple of conversations, which is what I always do with somebody before we sort of agree to work together, there's always this introduction kind of period. Did you ever feel in that time that you thought, I know I need this, but was there any sort of hesitation within you? And if so, was there the source, or were you really clear from the beginning?
No, I was very clear that I needed it.
Okay.
I wasn't so clear what exactly we would do, because I think that was kind of it's not therapy. I knew it wasn't this kind of coaching that is in fashion that I was a bit allergic to. I knew you were not going to really teach me to do something. So I was really curious to understand how you work. And I remember the first sessions were hard. It was so uncomfortable. And I remember at many times thinking, why am I doing this? But with everything that's like that, that's good. There's this element, no, of pushing to the limits.
Yeah.
And then we went into a really good flow of discovery, and I really I really got so much out of our sessions, and I feel like I'm a completely different person thanks to the work we did.
Is there anything else that sort of sticks out for you? It was challenging, yes. We got more into a flow as you went on. Was there anything else that you feel is relevant to share?
Well, yeah, I felt like I was in this game, sort of, that nobody else understood or knew. It was very personal, where I'm observing things differently. I'm observing myself differently. I'm trying to savor and taste life and everything I do to a degree that I'd never done before. And it's all this, and it's all these experiences and tastes and confrontation with your own self that is quite spectacular and delicious, but also scary and stinky, and it's both. And it's so personal that you feel like it's your secret nobody knows, and you're dealing with your life, with your family, with your peers, with your colleagues, and you're in this game, and I really like that. And then I started to kind of put one together, and then, okay, this is what's going on. And sometimes you see things that you really don't like, in yourself, and that's not easy. I remember there were many sessions where I ended up crying, and also I think you're really good at being able to see through the person and know when we're being authentic and ourselves, or when we're just wanting to tell ourselves and you a story to kind of go into this automatic pilot of BS, and I like that you spotted right on, even when I wouldn't spot it, I wouldn't know that I was doing something, and you were like, well, that's not really what we're talking about, let's go there. And what I find now as a result is that in a way I learned a little bit of that, and now I'm sort of watching others in the same way as you were watching me. I feel like I'm a mini coach without coaching, but in the way I'm like, when something happens, I'm thinking, I wonder why that was the reaction, and because I've been there myself, and I remember how I didn't notice, so it's been really fascinating, and also important. It was really important to keep the eye on the goal, because you can get really distracted on everything, on your projects, on simply thinking that you're calling or you're having these sessions to report on what your week was like, like, oh, I got into the fight with my boyfriend, and my kids are really difficult to deal with, and my work, and I'm insecure, and it's not therapy. So it was hard to get out of that automatic way of, okay, now I'm just going to tell Anna everything that's going on, and look for comfort. And then I realized, well, no, that's not what it's about. I really loved our work on the sort of macro vision of things, seeing things from really far away and understanding what's really the situation or the feeling. I really loved our talks about the Chronos and Kairos, and how the world works in a way that sometimes is not really suitable for the creative minds or the risk takers, if we have to follow a line that is towards success or towards achievement or towards whatever, and that really shifted something. Like I feel like now, a friend of mine recently asked me, oh, like, are you really aware of your colleagues, your other conductors, your peers, the others who are more successful or less successful, or who's doing what? Like, and I said, to be honest, I used to be so much aware about where do I fit into the world of other people, no? And how are they? And that was really important to me, and sometimes it was devastating, and really today I answered to her. I said, honestly, I really don't care right now, because I know that my path is my own, and I'm very happy with my path, and totally comfortable with the things that have happened and with the things that haven't happened. and also open that anything could happen. And I really didn't have this attitude before at all. I suffered a lot from, oh, this is not fair, this should have happened, or why didn't this? And I think it really had to do through, it really came about through the work of the couple of years we worked together, where I decided what is really important to me. And we have one life, and we can decide if we live it in this kind of horse riding rank, or if we just go and in and out of the horse ring and into the forest, and we're okay with sometimes winning a competition or not even entering the competition, and that for me, that was a huge shift. And I think I really took it with me, because there's certain things that we worked on which were kind of temporary successes, that they come and then if we forget. But that's one that I really took. I feel like now I'm so much freer and really grateful with what's going on. I remember your talks also about how everything can disappear in a second. One can die, and everyone can go, and it's all ephemeral. So if you really think about that, then you're just happy with every little bit you get, and I know we all know this, and it's repeated constantly, but I think in the work we did, I was able to deeply touch on that.
Yeah, that sounds like you sort of gained a more of an embodied understanding.
Yes.
And just sort of, like you say, we all know that stuff.
Yeah.
To actually embody the understanding is to be living it, and is to be looking through those eyes out at the world.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. There's I mean, you're also touching on something else I wanted to ask you, which is what would you say is the lasting impact of coaching for you at this point in time? One of the things that I love about the work that I do is that the extent to which the work lives on in the client long after I've worked with that person. So I often get emails 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line after finishing working with someone, and they'll tell me about something that's happening in their life, and they'll say, I can see that the seeds of this event, this wonderful event that's happening in my life, the seeds were planted back in coaching 5 years ago. And
completely.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things that I love, is the fact that there's this sort of unknown nature of change, which
absolutely
is very natural. Speaking to you about the results of our work, you've already sort of talked about internally, some really big changes that happen for you in terms of your approach to life, your sort of outlook, and how you're meeting life. Is there any other sort of tangible results in terms of the material world to the external world around you?
So much, so many things. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if you think about it, it was while we were working that, first of all, silence of sound. So many big babies were born thanks and during our work. Silence of sound, which is this performance work, this show that I created together with Gabriela Munoz. For those who don't know what we're talking about, this is something that I had been cooking for years before I met Anna, and it was a very difficult thing for me to suddenly realize that I was not only the producer, the conductor, the one who had the idea, but also I was going to step into the role of being the stage director and the group leader and many things that we worked on. And you came with me to Costa Brava when we were getting the team together. And that was crucial, because my approach to creating this piece was absolutely unique, because I had no school of, okay, this is how stage directors work. Day one, you get the team to do. Day two, you read the script. Day three, you do a workshop. Like, I had no technique, so I just sort of found my way, and it was because you were there that I was able to kind of have someone to bounce back with. How's this going? And dealing with people was so important. And so silence of sound would never be what it is now without the work we did. And that's a piece I'm very proud of. and also a piece that had to do a lot with myself and with my journey. And so the work we were doing was being reflected on the piece and coming back. And one of the things we said at the end, which was so beautiful, and I don't forget, is that I thought I was making a project, and I thought I was creating a show. And by the end of the process, I realized is that the show was creating me, and that was really, really cool. The other thing was another big baby festival, PAAX GNP, my festival in the Median Riviera, which is a massive project. I had to turn into a CEO of a big company running, a festival with, 90 people working on it and 100 artists coming, and to have the ability to go through that huge growth would have been a mess without you. And so I think it was really great to be able to do that. And also, it was kind of miraculous that we were able to do Silence, and then also PAAX in the same year. And also the development of my own company. Before the pandemic and before I met you, I was a conductor. Then by the time I finished, I was a CEO of a company producing a festival. I had stage director for this, like way more than I thought I was or could be. And all these beautiful projects really were blossoming, and I had to learn really fast to step into all these different roles and change hats, and at the same time stay true to what do I really want to do, who do I want to be. So, it's massive. If you think of what we did during the time we were working, is, I feel like now I'm just kind of harvesting on that, because it was so much. And in a way, I'm glad we're not working together right now, because I need to calm down, otherwise we'll be like, it's just the level of productivity and focus that you give is extraordinary. It's like for athletes, when if it's as if you're going to the Olympics, you would want to bring Anna, and then you would stay focused and do what you do, and that's how it felt, in many ways. And what you do for creative minds and for entrepreneurs and for artists, it's remarkable. And then I started getting this real, and I still have it, this, now that I see you again, now after so many months we didn't chat, I started wanting you to work with everybody that I love and admire. So I was like, and now that I'm here, I'm thinking of 3 people that I want you to work with, or I want them to work with you. So it's it was so hard for me when you asked me to write a some kind of testament of our work. I was paralyzed, because I think in any word or sentence I would say would fall short of how strong your help was and your guidance was and still is. So for me, I was like, I really wanted to do it, but I'm such a perfectionist that I didn't want to write something banal and just be like, oh, it was wonderful. And it's I wish I could express it even better. But there is definitely a before Anna and after Anna Alondra, without a doubt. And that's, as simply as I can put it.
That's gorgeous. I think you're expressing it brilliantly and beautifully.
Thank you. I'm trying.
That's a really gorgeous thing to say. And I love everything that you said here, Alondra.
Thank you. It's really, I could talk so much longer, but it
really is.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. How much?
So one very final question, and it's really it's relating to if there is any other artist or creative professional out there that's watching this and can resonate with what you've said particularly regarding the challenges that you were experiencing before coaching started, if they can sort of relate to the experience that you were having, what would you say to them if they were skeptical or sitting on the fence regarding whether to work with me, whether to choose the form of coaching that I do? What would you say to them right now?
Well, they will never know what it's like until they try it, and they cannot be skeptical about something they don't know. and that you are a coach like no other. So there's nothing that they may see on TV or social media that may relate in any way to what you do. You're an absolute professional. You're an incredibly prepared, gifted, smart, super philosopher. So it's much more than just coaching. The word coach falls very, very short, and I think is the wrong one. For me, it was more like lessons on inner philosophy than coaching. More like lessons on what is my philosophy, and on that you used lots of quotes and resources of things you had read that I had no idea of, and you're just so well prepared that this is no joke. So to those people I would say, you just have no idea. Try it, and then after a few months, then you can decide if you're skeptical or not. But you can't be skeptical before, because there's nobody out there like you.